All right, so starting off here, I think there's a few things we're gonna have done, but we'll have done by a different contractor. For example, the front door and the garage door are two items that I would just have a door company come in, measure, cut, and cap, and install it for us. So these will be done, but they're not going to be looked at from our contractors in that respect. Okay, we're gonna just start outside here. There's not a lot happening out here. But the first thing is we're going to replace this light fixture with something a little bit more pretty and eye-catching. And I'd like to clad these metal rails with some nice wood to make it look a little bit more rich, so it looks less 70s. And if that's not possible, then I'd like to just cut them off altogether and put something else in their place. Or just have literally nothing altogether. I'm open to any one of those three options. All three are going to require a little bit of work. Obviously, just cutting them out is the easiest option and probably actually the best option because it would look nice to just open it right up. But those are the three approaches I would take. When you come in here, we're going to first remove this wall. And included in removing this wall is going to obviously also entail taking these light switches and moving them around the corner here or putting them right here. So that's fine, that's doable. And when you come in, we're going to also get rid of this whole thing. That'll be gone. We're going to keep this closet set up, but we're just going to shrink it. So we're just going to make it so that the width on this side is mirrored with the width on that side, okay? And we're going to keep the bulkhead lines. You see this little bulkhead line there that runs along? We have to keep it in order to protect the cove moldings. You see that? We don't want to redo all these ceilings. So to make it match, I think it would be smart to just carry this little bulkhead along to that point right there so that it matches that side, okay? And then over here, again, you'll just have that bulkhead running over. You might just have like a lowered section, or I'm sure creatively the guys can think of some way to make this all come together good. But what that also means is we don't have to do a lot of re-drywalling, okay? So it's going to save us a lot of time, effort, and energy. But that means this pantry is going to be gone, which is fine because we're going to make up for it in other places. Now, this whole wall is going to be gone. So here's another light switch that has to be relocated. We could probably just end up with a 4-gang right there for the kitchen and for everything else. Or we could even, maybe add some light switches on the side. I don't know, depending on what the electricians say. Just assume that every single light fixture is going to be upgraded with a nicer product. All right. We're not really moving any of them around except for in the kitchen. I think in the kitchen we're going to be doing some big changes. We're going to be adding pot lights and getting rid of that thing and adding some smaller ones to go over top of a peninsula that we're going to talk about in a minute. But right in this little section, so coming from there to there into the closet and then coming around, we could probably do some kind of an angle cut like this and over. That's going to be tiled. It has to be tiled so that when you're coming in, the hardwood floors aren't going to get ruined. And it kind of gives the person coming in the door the impression that this is where your shoes are taken off. So they understand that it's not to just be trampled all through. Then from here, and all of the rest of the main floor, except for the bathroom, so flowing right into the kitchen, will all be the new hardwood floors into the 3 bedrooms and into the little closet and the big closets in the bedrooms and everything. It's all going to be new hardwood floors. These registers, okay, can all be spray painted black with just a high gloss spray paint. Every single one that's in good shape, just keep it and spray paint it black. Same with these. These things are pretty expensive. Spray paint them black, and we can do that down in the basement or whatever. Okay, all of the plugs and receptacles and GFIs and switches will all be replaced with Decora, but we're going to have an electrician do that. So it's going to be it won't be part of the scope for the guys, the laborers that we're going to have come in here. Okay, that'll be for the electricians. Of course, you'll need some kind of a transition, but with, with tile and wood, you can do some nicer stuff. You don't have to have a cheap metal transition like we usually use in rental houses. So just keep that in mind. Now, you may need some oil paint in a few places where there's some staining. It doesn't look like water damage. It just looks like something weird, maybe from the plants that they used to have. I'm not really sure what that is, but we'll have to oil stain, I'm sure, a little bit in the corners. A big part of this job too is going to be, obviously, this isn't a big part, but filling all the holes and stuff, skim coating where it needs it. But removing wallpaper. You've got quite a bit of wallpaper. This chair rail's got to go. This whole wall's getting knocked out, but anywhere where there's that chair rail stuff's gone. You've got wallpaper all down here. The doorbell location is fine. We're just going to put a nicer looking doorbell, a modern one. And yeah, a lot of wallpaper. All of the trim is coming out in the whole house. The baseboard, we're going to put a new baseboard, probably a square, rectangle, straight cut, modern trim with some kind of extra step to replace quarter round. I just don't want those round edges. So we're going to keep it square and modern. Same with around the doors, okay? But all the doors themselves are going to be custom pre-hungs, custom measured to the width of the door jamb, plus the height and the width and everything. And I was thinking we'd have black hinges and black knobs with the levers. It doesn't really matter. I mean, whatever's more economical. But I think having the nice handles, that's what people are going to touch. So that's important to have something nice. We're going to replace these with bifolds as well. So that's huge. Just keep that in mind. Bifold doors, whether we got to custom order them or not. Nice dummy knobs to tie in with the knobs that we're going to have over there is important. The ceilings are all going to need a fresh coat of flat white paint throughout the entire house. And all of the walls need a fresh coat of paint with the eggshell. And then all of the trim needs a semi-gloss, and the doors obviously need a semi-gloss as well. We're going to pick those colors. Inside of the closets, I just want them all painted. The shelves painted, but these metal bars are nice and clean. I think we can keep those. If you guys can take them off, paint, and then put them back in place, that would be nice because they do look decent. So, ooh, look at that, a little plastic ring. Anyways, okay, and these blinds are pretty ugly, so they're all going to be taken off and removed. Okay, so that's important. Find out if this thing works. If it doesn't, if it's not even being used, rip it off and mud over the hole. And if it is being used and it does work, then just replace it with one that's not so ugly. You can see there's a lot of wallpaper that has to go. Now, in all the bedrooms, I just want to do the cheap flush mounts that we're typically used to using, the contractor packs from Home Depot. All of these as well, remove all the blinds and the hardware and the drapes. We'll look into buying new blinds later in the job when we figure out what the budget looks like, but that'll be at the very end. And by the way, we're going to go right on top of this parquet with our new hardwood, so we're not going to be ripping anything out. Anywhere you see phone jacks and stuff, guys, just cut them out, get rid of them. It's not important these days. Same with coax cables, gone. Don't need them. This little cove thing here, I'd like to get rid of these tiles, okay, and then just put a fresh piece of wood in here to match that. And then let's paint it all with oil and semi-gloss trim paint, and we'll trim it in. That's all. This will just be a clean white, nice little spot, nice big window. We don't need little tiles on there anymore. We are not replacing this door with another French door. This will be a normal door. And for the doors, just the absolute cheapest flat panel doors like these would be fine. I just don't, obviously we can't use these because they're stained and the paint will never stick. So we do need new doors everywhere, as I already mentioned, but the flat plain ones are fine. Unless the landlord, or sorry, the owner says, you know, that she'd like to have a nicer style, that's up to her and we'll have that conversation. But for now, just keep that in mind. Now in the bathroom, we're going to keep the toilet. It's a perfectly good new toilet. But just the layout's going to stay identical. We're not really changing anything in here. Other than I think it'd be nice to just get rid of the bulkhead because we don't need it. So a little bit of mudding there. All this wallpaper has to come off. This is gone. That's gone. Obviously the vanity's gone, and the linoleum's gone. Tub is gone. So we're gonna put a nice tub in here. Nothing too expensive, but I just don't want the cheapest entry-level steel tub. I want a nice tub, but like $300-400 max. Nothing crazy. I want to frame in and drywall over top of this wall, this window, because this looks into another part of the house and that's just weird. Okay, so there will be no window in here at all. So we're gonna have to put in a vent somewhere. So keep that in mind. We're gonna cut a hole, connect the wire, run a vent, and get it outside, whether it's through the shingles or out the side, whatever there's room for. Now, I guess we could buy a kit for new, you know, toilet paper holder, towel rack. That's fine. You can buy a little 2 or 3 pack. We'll buy a nice looking mirror, and we'll buy a beautiful wall mounted light fixture. And this would be a place too that I actually think would be ideal to put in a couple of pot lights on a couple of different switches, you know. So we'll have the one switch for here, and then 2 pot lights, and then another 2 pot lights in the shower. You know what I mean? Just to really make this bathroom look sexy, because we're not going to do a lot in the way of floor plan and stuff, so we got to do it with the lighting to help out. In here now, on top, so new mixing valve, new shower head, bring it up a bit, make it a little higher. And then I want to put just literally come the tile right out to the edge here, right down to the floor in front of the tub. And it's going to come all the way up to the top and straight down. And we'll put like a nice metal trim up the corner, and similar with here. I don't think we really need an accent tile. We can just make it look nice and modern. And here what we'll do is we'll go to Home Depot or Rona or somewhere and just buy a big pre-built double vanity with the 2 sinks and countertop and everything already on it, just to save in terms of labor. So we don't want to be buying stuff we have to build. It takes too long. And then in the floor, just a really nice tile. We'll shop around, but we'll tile in here to make that look good. So I don't know if this floor needs, probably will need another layer of subfloor just to make it a little stronger, because it feels pretty weak. So that's something to consider. And then obviously, if needed, any necessary transition. Now going into the kitchen, I don't know yet if we want to get rid of this bulkhead. I mean, I want to get rid of it. It's going to look good. But the problem is when you're buying kitchen cabinets from IKEA, they don't do much in terms of trim at the top. So it can sometimes look sort of stupid when you have the cabinets just getting close there, but you don't really have it fully trimmed in. So the nice thing about having the bulkhead is that we can buy cabinets that are the exact same size. It's super easy. Number one, we'd have very little drywall work to do, and I don't think it's going to make a big impact negatively on the appeal of this house by having that bulkhead still there. Obviously the wallpaper's gone, but we could put brand new cabinets in and just replace the footprint that's here now and add the peninsula. Do you know what I mean? And it's going to save lots of money, and it's going to actually finish nicely. It will not look like cabinets that you know weren't custom. The alternative is then we don't buy IKEA cabinets. We get pricing from Rona or Home Depot or some other cabinets. If we get rid of the bulkhead and we're going to put in taller cabinets, then we got to spend a little more money on the cabinets themselves as well, and get ones that have a crown molding at the top so it's finished off better. Because, you know, that's my only problem with IKEA cabinets is the top. They haven't done much in terms of crown molding and stuff yet. All right. Obviously, too, this is a really small fridge, so we got to factor in we need a space for a larger fridge. The dishwasher will stay there. We're going to put a beautiful tile backsplash. That is definitely going to happen. We're going to need a nice new hood vent, something stainless. and a double basin sink similar to this, or maybe one of those fancy big country style ones. I don't know. We'll see what they got. But the floor plan in here is going to stay almost identical so as to eliminate a lot of costs of reconfiguring things. Now over here, I don't know exactly how it's going to look, but we're going to probably put 1 or 2 base cabinets with some backing on it, and a countertop where you can accommodate 1 or 2 or maybe 3 little bar stools, but 2 probably, most realistically speaking. And we'll have it so that the countertop doesn't stick out farther than this, because we want to have enough room for someone to sit without them sticking into the hallway. That's important. We already have a plug here. I mean, how convenient is that for the counter plug for the little peninsula? That's perfect. Okay. And again, we're going to have the electrician put in pot lights throughout here. So, 2, 4, 6 or something like that. And then maybe just 4 or whatever. Maybe just strategically run them along the front of the kitchen cabinets. We'll see. And then we'll put a couple of lights centered over top of the peninsula so they hang down a few feet. That would look really pretty. Now in here it gets a little tricky. I'm hoping we can do this. I don't think it would be a problem because this is an interior wall. That's the exterior wall. So I want to blow this wall out. We're going to blow this wall out too. I forgot to mention. We're going to take this right out, trim this in real nice with the hardwood right over the lip. We're going to have it kind of run over, have a nice lip running along the edge where this is wide open. Buy and install a beautiful railing, okay, that butts right up to that wall, which is where the wet bar is going to start. Not the wet bar, but the peninsula. Now, that's another thing to consider too, is by having the peninsula, you can't open this as much. Having the peninsula is nice, but that means we're going to have to stop about there. Whereas without the peninsula, you could go all the way back past that plug, and then this would be really open. Either way, it's not much of a trade-off in terms of labor cost, because the time it would take to do the extra opening and extra railing would make up for the time it would take to build that whole thing. So I think it's 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, but basically it's going to open to about here. So this whole thing from there over will be open. We'll just leave a little tiny bulkhead at the top unless the ceilings match up. If the ceilings match up, then great in terms of height. Then we'll just get rid of the bulkhead altogether, make it perfectly seamless and smooth, and run right into this room so it looks like it's just one big room. Worst case scenario though, if we have to leave a little bulkhead, we will. And coming into here, I want to get rid of this closet, all right? And I want to build this floor up so that this little piece right here is just one last step. This will be the last step, because this floor I'm standing on right now will be the same height as this floor, right? Now that needs to happen. It needs to flow right into this closet. This closet's going to be gone. This wall is gone. All this is gone because I want to have a really nice pantry built in this wall here that kind of wraps around the fridge. And that will be, when you're looking at it from over here, with this all being open, you're going to see this beautiful pantry. And with the ceiling, think of the wall all gone. This is wide open, okay? And then beside the fridge, you'll have a beautiful pantry along this wall as well that will come out at fridge depth, and it'll look really, really sharp, flowing into the sunroom, which we're going to open up as well. So that's one last thing. This is going to be a little trickier. This is an exterior wall. So we're going to remove this door. We're going to remove the sill. There's a little bit of labor in that, obviously. And we're going to have to put in a special header, but I want it to be higher, because imagine if I'm up high, I'm going to hit my head on that. So this needs to come up another 12 inches at least. So we need to put a header up there, support the load, open it up, make it look like this was just a passageway. I do not want this to look like a door that's been turned into a, we just took the hinges off. But no, I want this to be nicely trimmed in, maybe with some nice wood, stained, some kind of a beautiful wood that we could stain, sort of beachy looking, which would be really a cool idea. And then when you come in here, I was sort of thinking, I'm not really sure what to do with this sunroom yet. I'm thinking that the quote should have the sunroom as kind of extra, because it's really hard to quote the labor for the sunroom because we don't really know what's up there. We don't know what we're going to find. We don't really know what are we going to do with these bricks. Are we going to paint them? Are we going to clad them with shiplap, which would be my first choice to make it really beachy and really cool? We don't know what we're doing with these windows because they're pretty crappy, right? This all needs to be replaced and touched up. Are we raising this up if we can? Are we going to get a little more headroom? What are we doing with this step? What are we doing with these floors? What kind of condition are they in? Do we need another layer of subfloor? What are we doing for ventilation? Are we going to put a vent in here from the basement and tie in? Are we going to put a little fireplace in here? There's a lot of variables in this room that this sunroom needs to be a separate timesheet where we're basically going to track it separately, and it'll be a separate bill from the rest of the job. The rest of the job's pretty straightforward and we can easily quote it. But this room has so many unknowns. Once we start working, that's when we're going to be able to know exactly what the price is going to look like in here, based on what we're doing with these windows and everything, and the floor and the ceiling and the walls, as I mentioned. I definitely don't want to just leave the brick like that. I mean, we can leave brick, but it'd have to be painted and other things, or we refinish it with shiplap, which would be my favorite first choice. Yeah. So, and then, and do we want to have this door off the garage? I think we do. We'd want to accommodate for just smaller couches, I guess, But that's this room. And what are we going to do about covering this window? That's the thing. If we do the shiplap, we can cover this window as if it was never here. It'll just look nice and smooth. And we want this to, the problem with brick too is it looks like an addition. It looks chintzy. If you put the new shiplap beach boards running along here, whether you go horizontal or vertical, whatever, this does not look like an exterior wall anymore. This will look like part of the house, and with the finished ceiling and with this all flowing in together into the house again. And again, I want to have that same hardwood we have over there in here, Or maybe do we want to put a comfy carpet so it's nice and warm on your feet? I don't know. But either way, I just don't want this to look like a little sunroom that we tried to convert into living space. It needs to look like an addition so that we can say that this is an extra 200 square feet of living space on the measurements of this home. All right, we're going to get rid of this little handrail thing. It's actually pretty cool. So maybe not. Maybe don't damage this thing. Set it aside. Maybe that's not a bad idea to put this on when the new railings come in. I think families would really appreciate that for kids. But whatever. Coming down the stairs, the basement, we're going to do what we can to modernize it without spending too much money. But definitely we're going to carpet the stairs. We're going to carpet the rec room. And we're going to carpet this big bedroom. It's just a question, are we going to get any extra money by doing any major conversions down here? And I don't think we will. I think the money we're going to get is from upstairs, from this bathroom. And, maybe if somebody wanted to look at this as a master bedroom. But I don't want to spend too much time, effort, and energy down here because it's still going to be a cool rec room that's finished off and people can enjoy. We do have a foundation crack, I think, somewhere in behind that corner. And if there's any other ones, let's find them, identify them, and let's inject them as soon as possible. I don't care if that window gets replaced. That's going to stay buried in here. I just think, though, that we should get a new window separate from the quote because this would be an extra on there and a new window on there, okay? We're just going to frame in the vents. We're going to frame in these posts. We are going to drywall all the exterior walls, and we're going to put pot lights in. I'm not sure how many. That's up to the electrician. But this room is going to stay where it is. We're not going to redo this wall or nothing. We'll just put a nice new door in here. Okay, and I'd like to take this room right here. We'll leave this a nice big spacious room. Let's just finish this off like that, and we'll put a door right here coming into this laundry room. So this whole space can stay big and spacious and roomy. Everybody likes to have a lot of storage room and for laundry and snowboards and Christmas trees and junk like that. So getting rid of this space would not be a good idea. And having that space back there, it could be like a man's little workshop or something. And this is, in all fairness, this is a good sized rec room. If you drywalled this whole thing, trimmed in the windows, by the way, just baseboards all the way around, whatever, with pot lights all over the place, and drywall all here, drywall under these beams and stuff, keep in mind. This is going to be a really nice big rec room. Coming into this master bedroom or bedroom, guest room, whatever you want to call it, I think what we'll do is what Steven had talked about originally is just bump this, make this room a little bit bigger. Let's just bump the whole wall back a little bit. All right, this can stay exposed. That's fine. We'll just make a nicer looking cabinet for that. But we'll bump this whole wall back quite a bit further to like here. So we'll add another like 2 or 3 feet onto the depth of this room just to hide the plumbing on the side. And we'll make an access panel here for that. But then this room will be nice and big. And we'll put a door somewhere on this wall that goes into here. And we'll make this room like a big, awesome walk-in closet, you know? So I think that was a great idea. And then off of the walk-in closet, there will be this little fruit cellar access, you know, or we could take this room, frame it in like that, you know what I mean? So that there's access to the fruit cellar. That's actually probably a better idea. Frame this in, have access to the fruit cellar. Close this section off here. This is your big, huge walk-in closet. Frame and insulate this whole thing. Drywall it. Put just a normal light fixture in the middle. Have a doorway off of the bedroom. And we'll run a closet rod all the way down with a shelf on top. And then you're going to come in. This would be a really cool master bedroom. With a big walk-in closet. This will be a little kind of hallway off to the fruit cellar. And again, down here, by the way, all new pre-hung doors installed. So I don't know if you guys are counting how many there are, but you're going to have to keep in mind for the price of labor installing all of these things. The handrail going down the stairs, we'll just buy a new one. It's going to be moved from that wall to this side, obviously, because we're opening it up. And we'll buy something nice, and we'll stain it a nice wood color so it looks pretty and beachy. This bathroom. Okay, so what I was thinking in here is we would keep the layout exactly the way it is, just for price, plumbing, and all that kind of stuff. But let's get rid of this wall. Any more light switches? Yeah. There's a post here, so we got to come up to here at least, and then we'll cut across to the left, and then once we're all the way down there, we'll cut across to the right. So let's open this whole thing up. All this is gone. We'll have a smooth ceiling with a little bulkhead down the middle where that beam is, of course, right there. And we'll drywall this whole thing in here nice. This is mostly already done, but we'll tie into what we can. But this won't be so tight because we're going to expand it all the way out to there. All right, now we could have a little door on here, like a bifold door, so you have storage access under the stairs. That's a good idea. The toilet will stay where it is. We'll replace that with a nicer, wider vanity. It can still be a single vanity, but it'll just be wider. If we can fit a double vanity, great. It won't be too much more in plumbing because it'll be a pre-built vanity. Now here, I don't know, we're going to get rid of that cap, put a normal sort of in-the-floor access to that, a clean out. And let's just strip the tiles off of these walls, you know, and put all beautiful brand new tiles on there. And here's what I was thinking. Let's open this up more, and let's open this whole thing up. Sorry, knock all these walls down, these tiles off, and we'll cut down to about halfway, all the way out, and we'll build a knee wall. So this door's not going to be here, by the way. We'll have a knee wall that comes out to about here. So from here all the way to the end. In there, all the way to the end, there will be a wall that comes out to about there, and it will be drywalled on this side, and on this side it will be tiled. And then on the top we'll put a stone of some kind, or tile, right? And then on top we'll have glass that goes right up to the ceiling and runs all the way down. We may need to make a little bulkhead along the top, okay, for the glass to rest up against. But the cool thing about that is this can be a walk-in shower. The shower head will stay where it is. The drain will stay where it is. And this can all be tiled gradually inside the shower towards the drain. And you can literally just come in, we'll put some hooks on the wall right here, take your clothes off, walk into the shower, and you don't even have to have a shower door or anything, just a big piece of glass and some really nice tile running down this whole wall. This whole wall will be tiled, and then that side will be tiled, and then this knee wall will be tiled, and the floor will be tiled. That's it. Well, obviously the whole floor will be tiled everywhere, but not all the walls in the whole bathroom. The rest of them will just be drywalled. That's my idea for in here. We'll obviously reconfigure the plugs. That's in a stupid location. Make sure there's a GFI there. Bring it down to a normal location. I don't like how high that is. We're going to have to move some of the switches from over there, from in there back to over here where they belong. And we'll have, you know, a 2 or 3 gang for the pot lights for the shower, for the common pot lights, and then for the bathroom. So I'd like to have just a bunch of pot lights in here to dress it up. All right. And we're not going to do anything by way of upgrades in the laundry area at all. We're just going to leave it open and exposed. We're going to carpet the stairs, paint the runners, carpet the whole basement, in the walk-in closet, in the bedroom, and in the rec room area. And then just whatever cheap baseboards, and that'll do the trick with new paint. And that, I believe, is the whole job.